Welcome to the Evolution Magazine live series. It is February 11th, year 2021, and tonight's episode is sure to keep you warm on a cold winter night. Tonight's Valentine's Day show is hosted by April Hatch of Cannabis Care Team and Alice Mangan of aliceCBD Boutique, our two nurses talking about cannabis and sexual health. Special guest Dana Howard of Infused KC cooking up something sweet. Our show will get underway in just a few moments, but first, a word from our sponsors. Cannabis Care Team. Our mission is to provide qualifying patients with the education, support, and advocacy they need to experience the medical benefits of cannabis and consume it safely. We work tirelessly to have a positive impact on the lives of others and achieve our mission by providing education to both patients and the industry. Visit CannabisCareTeam.com or give us a call today. Cannabis Care Team, education before medication. Relief Resources Dispensary, located in Grandview, Missouri.
Welcome to your relief.
Now open 7 days a week, providing patients with quality medicine as well as accessories for patients and home cultivators, with a qualified staff to guide you on your cannabis journey. Visit reliefmo.com for product menu and patient resource information.
Hi, this is Doc Mack. We're here at Relief Resources Dispensary. We have a full selection of very fine flower, edibles, infused beverages, AGG infuser machines for you home cultivators, cookbooks, and a whole variety of support materials. So look us up at reliefmo.com. Check us out, like us, share with your friends. We'll get you taken care of.
The Missouri Cannabis Industry Association has been our longest-running show sponsor, while providing quality education over many topics in partnership with area cannabis professionals. MCIA is dedicated to a free cannabis market to create supplies and prices that are patient-friendly, with initiatives to support adult-use cannabis, to protect home growers' rights, and expand the caregiving program. Go to mocia.org to learn about memberships, to learn about their certified caregiving program, and learn how to get involved. Thank you, MCIA, for being a show sponsor. Tonight's video is provided by Cat King Films. Check this out. Cat King Films is offering promotional content, commercials, training videos, wedding videos, and documentary-style video production at an affordable price. A free consultation comes with every project to ensure that it is personalized to your brand. Check out previous projects by exploring the different sections on the newly launched website at catkingfilms.com.
Hello, Evolution family. It is freezing cold outside, but it is hot and steamy here at Happy Rock Farms. We have a very awesome Valentine's Day show for you guys planned here. We have April Hatch with the Cannabis Care Team, and then Alice Mangan with aliceCBD. They're going to be talking everything about how cannabis relates to sexual intimacy and women's health. This is a very slightly edgy topic, so you make sure that your kids have their headphones on, or vice versa, if you're trying to keep the birds and the bees talk out of the situation for them right now. We also have Dana Howard from Infused KC. She's going to be doing a little cooking demonstration while we're talking about all these topics. She is making infused lobster bisque. Yeah, I had no idea until tonight. So we all get to try that later tonight. So that's going to be a really awesome Valentine's Day special for us as well. Before I pitch it over to them, excuse me, I want to say thanks to our sponsors, the Cannabis Care Team, of course. If you have any loved ones at home who are kind of on the fence about trying cannabis for the first time, no matter the age, they can help guide them through that. If you're at a dispensary that has some staff that you're wanting to train on being professional and courteous and having the knowledge that it takes to be a good bud tender, reach them as well. They've helped out many dispensaries across the state and helped train their staff. So thanks to the Cannabis Care Team. Also, MCIA, they have a great caregiver program. If you're a patient looking for a patient caregiver or vice versa, they can help you guide you through that whole process. They can provide contracts to keep everybody in the clear, and it's a great program. I encourage you to check them out. And then last but not least, Relief Resources in Grandview, Doc Mack. He is the man. He's one of the very few licensed pediatricians that are doing medical marijuana certifications. He's also involved with Relief Resources Dispensary in Grandview. We have some great giveaways tonight, including 2 free gift cards to their dispensary. And we also have 2 free certifications from Elevate Holistics we're giving away tonight. Tons of other prizes, including Evoke, sexual bioceuticals. It's like a sexual health product that they'll dive into what that's about here shortly. We have rose water. I'm not sure what that's about because I'm a dude, so we'll find out what that's about here shortly. We have some Skytrace Farms pre-rolls, a whole gift basket full. So tonight we're going to be doing multiple giveaways, the certifications and the dispensary gift cards. Just tag a friend. You can tag as many friends as you want. You both get entered to win those prizes, which we'll give away here in a few days. But tonight, live on the show, we're going to be giving away this gift basket that you'll see shortly. To enter in that, don't tag a friend, just tag the word either Valentine's Day, type that in the comments, or bound chicka bound bound, because this is about to be a great show. If you could spell that, type that in. We're going to give away the gift basket after the commercial break, and you have to be here still on the show, tuning in to win that prize. So thanks for tuning in. I want to say quick thanks to Happy Rock Farms for letting us do the show here again. Great hydroponic store, one of the best in Kansas City. Come check them out. And then Cat King Films with the camera here. James Thomas over here with Level Up AV behind the computer. Thanks to our production crew and our host facility tonight. Without further ado, let's pitch it over to April Hatch and Alice Mangan.
Good job, Clay. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Yes, it is getting a little hot and steamy in here. We've got Dana, who we're going to go see. She's working on a really romantic Valentine's Day dinner. And I've got my good friend, my nurse friend Alice here, who's really honestly been an inspiration to me and just has such a great story. I will introduce ourselves a little bit after we get started, but it is going to be a fun show. And I'm really excited because this is the first time I've ever worn one of these hats and one of these dresses. Have you ever worn one of these before, Alice?
Not at all. I don't even recall if we had to wear a hat just for fun in nursing school.
No, we didn't. So, this is going to be a little bit of a cheeky show. It's a really important topic. Sexual health, women's health, sexual wellness is very important, and there's so many benefits to, having a healthy sexual activity. So, we're going to talk about the research. We're going to talk about some really fun products after the break. But right now, we're going to go see what Dana is working on for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Hi guys, how's it going? Dana Howard from Infused KC. We're doing a smoked lobster bisque tonight, and it is going to be fabulous. So I'm just going to run you through all the ingredients really quick before I start cooking. Right here we have a mirepoix, which is onion, carrots, and celery, all diced. And then a mixture of our herbs, tarragon, cayenne, and thyme. Garlic, flour, lobster. And then there's tomato paste, sherry, and heavy cream. And I already have the seafood stock in the pot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start sauteing this and get it all ready to go for these beautiful nurses over here. This is the April recipe in the Evolution magazine. So when that comes out, all of the ingredients and everything will be in the magazine. You'll be able to follow right along. So once the skillet is getting hot, your butter is melting, put your mirepoix in there. And you're just gonna sweat it. And to sweat means it starts to look a little bit translucent. So your onions, you know when you're cooking your onions and you can see through them, that's what sweat is. So it's just gonna go. And this is probably gonna take about 5 minutes, ladies, if you wanna talk for a little bit.
Yeah, actually, and I am quite thirsty, so if there's a drink over there that you
Oh
want to start
yeah,
working
well
on,
let me go ahead and make you something to drink. 'Cause
Okay, all right.
I did bring something. Here we go.
Now, of course, all of these products are infused with CBD today, and you want to start off with just talking about the benefits of CBD, Alice?
Sure. So CBD is, it's why I started a business, aliceCBD. CBD is one of the cannabinoids that is talked about a lot. People talk about it as being kind of like a panacea or that it will work for everything, and it's not quite exactly true. It is a very powerful molecule. It's not very potent. And so that's why when you look at milligrams for CBD compared to milligrams of THC or CBG or these other cannabinoids, it's, even though they're all from the same plant, you're going to have different effects. And CBD is one that a lot of people will gravitate to first before going full bore into cannabis after prohibition for so long. And there's still a lot of people that I've learned are very scared of CBD and would cross the street, you know, to go away from my CBD tent at some of these functions because stigma and ignorance, and they're learning though.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot of, there's CBD everywhere. I mean, there's a gas station up the street from me where I could purchase at least 40 different products of CBD. So I think that once, you know, people start to see it everywhere and yeah, there's a stigma as a cannabis, they just don't know, honestly. But Alice, I think it was about, 2 years ago, I came down to your store. You were very active in the American Cannabis Nurses Association, and so was I. And I started seeing this Alice Mangan down in Joplin, and she was, had some really high quality products. And so your CBD, honestly, was the CBD that really helped me with my symptoms. So I was suffering a lot of TMJ, a lot of inflammation. I was getting ready they were going to do surgery, and because I started using your stuff, with that added beta-carotene, it just made a huge, huge difference.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And I do hear that over and over, especially in the beginning. And that's kind of what happened was to get a family member off of opiates, I had to find a legal cannabis product, which was CBD at the time, that she could use with some efficacy because everything else, you know, the first 5 different bottles and pills was like drinking water or taking a placebo, without the good effect of a placebo.
Right, exactly.
You know,
absolutely.
And what we found was a black paste that a lot of people liken it to RSO, and it's basically almost like RSHO. Yeah. It's hemp oil, but it's kind of what made the difference. And then from there, we just expanded out and hopefully still.
You know, honestly, you know, when I met you and I started following you and started learning so much from you, because you were, you know, really inspired me to start helping more patients because you were doing that, especially, you know, even before you had your store. And just the quality of products and the quality of the education that came along with those products. And I think that that's so important. And of course, what we do at Cannabis Care Team is education before medication. People need to know how to, they need to know so much of the background information about CBD or THC and how to use it effectively, what to expect, what it's supposed to do, dosing, delivery methods. There's always that needed education. And so thank you for inspiring me and honestly inspiring so many other nurses all over the country as well.
Okay, thank you.
It is starting to smell really good in here.
Yes.
It is.
And so we're ready to move on.
Okay.
We are making this drink with pomegranate juice, and this is like a mocktail. This is a CBD mocktail.
Yes.
So there's no alcohol, it's just CBD. We're gonna use the infused KC honey to make a simple syrup. And so what I did was I just brought some pomegranate juice to a boil, and then I turned it off because I don't want to boil the honey. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in probably a couple tablespoons. And that'll give the ladies about 10 to 15 milligrams of CBD in their drink, so you can relax. And just stir it up. And the cool thing about this is it just dissolves like instantly into your juice. So I'm gonna let this cool. I'm gonna set it aside for just maybe like 20 minutes so it doesn't melt your ice. But we're ready to go ahead and move on with the saute pan. So next we're gonna add in some garlic.
So garlic is actually really good for circulation. So garlic potentially has a benefit for men if they have circulatory problems that are preventing them from becoming aroused or maintaining an erection. Garlic is one that I've heard that men are starting to incorporate in their diets.
That's awesome.
Does it work topically
Add
as
in
well?
your herb mixture.
I don't know that. It probably
around.
doesn't smell too good.
And when you start to smell the herbs, they're toasting, and that brings out more of the flavor in there.
We won't
I'm
be
not sure
adding
fresh,
it to,
Clay.
but if you can't get fresh, then especially during the winter,
Sorry.
tarragon, thyme, garlic, yum.
Yum.
Okay, next we're gonna do the tomato paste. This is so easy, guys. So basically you just coat the vegetables in the tomato paste. Just really quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then dust it with flour. And then you just want to cook the flour for a couple of minutes just to make sure that it doesn't taste gross when you eat your bisque. So the bisque is of French origin, and you can't call it a soup because it's French. So basically, what makes it a bisque is that it has added cream. And so it's creamy and velvety at the end. And you'll see when it's all finished how this turns into something delightful. But I'm going to throw it back over to you guys because this needs to cool down. And this is going to get ready to go into the blender.
Thank you, Dana.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Alice, what have you heard about, do you have people coming into your store who are scared to use cannabis because they're afraid that it will have negative effects on them sexually? Or, I do find that people are often scared to talk about that. They don't want to talk to their doctors about it. They don't want to talk to their partners about it. But what are some of the myths that you've heard about cannabis and sex?
Actually, I am still somewhat naive, so I didn't hear a lot of the myths of the low sperm count or this and that. And honestly, it's kind of been a side note or an after effect. I'll have people come in to take it for like polycystic ovary syndrome, or they'll be taking it for GI issues, and then 3 to 6 months later, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. It was like, oh, well, I didn't know you were trying. Well, we've been trying for 2 years.
Yeah.
Over and over. In a year and a half time, I had 7 people that came up pregnant that either were on Clomid or some other drugs that hadn't worked and had already stopped taking those because they'd already taken them, I think, for 9 months or something, and they just, like, over and over. So
Wow.
it kind of like was, okay, I guess it does help everything. It was kind of one of those side benefits.
Yeah.
Now I kind of broach it now that I have a product that I can share with people. And even before I did, even just our CBG drops, you know, you use them internally, but I use them topically if my neuropathies bother me, but you can use them everywhere topically. So CBG is another molecule that happens to be, you know, great for elevated mood. And you decide where you want your elevated mood and put it there.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. When I first tried CBG orally, you know, normally I'm a mom, right? I've got 3 kids, I've got 3 dogs. You know, I'm a nurse. I'm, you know, just trying to do my best every single day, and really, I'm just a people pleaser. And you know, as nurses, we're just trying to save the world, honestly. And so I would always be like this all day. And then when I first tried CBG, it was the first time I noticed, I mean, you know, even more so than THC, my shoulders relaxed, and I just was able to get rid of a lot of that tension. But a very exciting cannabinoid. I'm really excited that you do carry it in your store and that we're starting to see more products available with CBG. But one thing that really kind of got me into wanting to talk about sex and cannabis, I wrote an article for a magazine a few months ago, was that a study came out that actually showed that once cannabis was legalized medically or recreational state, people started having more sex and more babies. So I went and I looked at that study, and of course, you know, when people are experiencing less pain, when people are experiencing less depression, less anxiety, you know, when you are in a place where you want to connect with someone on an intimate level, yes, people are going to have more sex and more babies. So you've seen that just in your own store, that even with just CBD.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When I worked as a nurse, I worked neuro. I worked Brady, which happened to be physical therapy. So after strokes, victims, we would go through an intake and an exit, you know, questionnaire. So on the intake, you're thinking car accidents, am I going to walk again? But truly, sexual health questions were absolutely on that, because those are goals that people may need to, you know, look at. You know, it's part of our anatomy, and when we look at what the endocannabinoid system does, you know, eat, sleep, rest, relax, reproduce.
Absolutely.
On our, you know, on every cell of our body, there's an ECS something going on, something with the endocannabinoid system. On the egg, there is ECS signaling. It tells the egg where to implant to start growing. We're usually not pregnant in the uterus. Right. It is usually coming down the fallopian tube when pregnancy or conception takes place, but where does it implant? ECS signaling. Even on the spermatozoa, those cells have CB1 and CB2 receptors.
Yeah, there is. So there's a lot of research that we know that always needs to be done with cannabis, but we do have a ton of research out there. And then, James, if you want to throw up, I think there's that second slide. But I was doing some research for the show, and I found that there have been 347 studies that have looked at how cannabis affects the reproductive system. And the reproductive system, of course, includes sexual health. It includes libido. But, you know, there's really a lot of research that's just come out in the last couple years that have shown that, you know, cannabis doesn't negatively affect our sexual wellness like we thought it did. You know, we thought, and, you know, honestly, you know, again, more research does need to be done. But, you know, for a long time, we believed that consuming cannabis led to a lower sperm count. Well, you know, that honestly may not be true, because when they're doing so many of these studies with cannabis, they're lumping cannabis into the same group as alcohol, as cigarette smoking, as other drugs. You know, they're not looking at any, you know, the cannabis specifically. So, you know, a couple of studies that I've read about recently were really looking at cannabis specifically and the frequency of cannabis and how it affected sexual wellness.
I listened to that today when you had your conversation today, and I thought that was pretty interesting, especially when they talked about the number of times you have sexual contact or intimacy and orgasms being related to heart protective health. You know, in one of those 3 studies, you know.
Absolutely. So, you know, and we're not, you know, necessarily saying you should, we want you to be healthy sexually, whether that's with yourself, whether that's with a partner, however you want to experience that. But I mean, that reaching orgasm and that exercise that you get when you're engaging in sex is really, really good. Yes, it's honestly, it's good for your prostate, guys. It's good for your immune system. I mean, all those, we know that the endogenous cannabinoids are released after people reach climax. There's so many benefits to, you know, not only having that, that healthy sexual relationship, but also that connection oftentimes with someone. And that's definitely something we're missing out right now, especially during COVID.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And so that leads to mental health. So sex is not just a physical act. It is not just a genital act. It is a whole, it's spiritual, it's emotional, and it is something that kind of, you know, hopefully, you know, if this is how you like to practice sex, is, you know, monogamy, or having that someone that you have something a little bit on a deeper level that you don't share with everyone else. That's what kind of keeps you connected, and that's what, you know, a lot of people base marriage or monogamy on. And when that part is broken, you know, it can play, I mean, cortisol, cortisol, who wants belly fat anyway?
No.
You know, and stress hormones, and it's bad for your heart, so have sex. And
Right, get rid of that cortisol. That's absolutely what it does. And so, yeah, I had just briefly mentioned that. So there was a study that once people reach climax after orgasm, that they found more endogenous cannabinoids in their blood and lower levels of those dangerous, like the cortisol levels that we don't want floating around in our body, because, you know, cortisol leads to, again, heart disease, diabetes, I mean, cancer, honestly. So thank you, James. It looks like someone has said, CBD hasn't worked for my pain or for my RSD nerve pain. Will a certain MJ help me? I mean, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. This person's in forever chronic pain. I would definitely reach out to Alice or myself, and we will help you get on an effective treatment plan. You know, what I found that works for a lot of patients, and even some patients think that they need the THC, but really once they get on an effective dose of a good quality CBD and CBG, you know, they may just need very small amounts of THC to get rid of that chronic pain. But we would love to help you, Alice or I, so definitely reach out.
And THC Delta 8 is another way to go if you don't have a medical card, or if you're wanting something with less of the high part of it and more of the body relief of it. And that's where you get that CB2 activation with your Delta 8.
And I'm going to chime in real quick. There's some comments on the thread about the Evoke. Let's see. Looks like Rachel Crawford commented. She said that if y'all have not tried Evoke, it would be the best $25 you'll spend this year. And then Janet Leo has question marks, wondering what Evoke is.
Yes, absolutely. So Evoke is actually going to be in our giveaway basket. So write, you know, comment about Chicka Wow Wow or Valentine's Day. But yeah, let's let Alice go ahead and talk about it. You know, this product is honestly, it's not only CBD, and that's why I love so many of Alice's products, but it's got a combination of botanicals and CBD. And really the combination of those things is really beneficial. So
yeah, so just like when we talk about CBD doesn't work for me, a lot of it is dosage, duration, and direction, meaning how are you taking it? Is it internal? Is it topical? Or are you using it as a suppository, either vaginally or rectally? Dosage and then duration, how long at the right dosings, but also what are those other components? Because CBD is actually a molecule. A CBD product could be just that molecule with some MCT or a carrier, or it could be with beta-caryophyllene, with cranberry seed oil, with turmeric, those things that we talk about, or even lavender. People, you know, have no idea, but putting lavender on topically or even smoking a little bit of lavender has linalool. Linalool is in a lot of our products that have CBD that seem to give you that relaxation and that calmness, or even a anesthetic, you know, when you use topically.
Well, yeah, I know a lot of women are using vaginal suppositories. You know, again, it's not something people like to talk about, but a lot of women suffer chronic pelvic pain, and it really prevents them from having the intimacy that they want. So, you know, a product that has CBD that can decrease that inflammation down, or THC that can reduce that pain in that area, is you know, what a lot of women are trying. And fortunately, you know, fortunately, we were talking over the break, but or earlier, but in the last 10 years, people are starting to talk about this more, and it's absolutely okay. And you know, that's how we, you know, once we recognize it, and once we can start having the conversation, is once we can start helping ourselves and helping other people. So, how do you use this Evoke product? I mean, I'm going to act like I haven't used it, but
Okay. So, male or female, you kind of have an idea of anatomy and targeted areas. So this is something that is used topically, or for women, you can use it intravaginally.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to try that
Yes.
in a few days,
Yes.
probably.
Can you read that?
Yeah,
And
so-
that was by, where'd her name go?
Is it Cynthia Paul that wrote that?
Kiana
Oh.
Kiana. Can you say her name and
Yeah.
read what she wrote?
Kiana. Okay, so Evoke is amazing. I put it on my tampon before I insert it. It helps my cramps. That's awesome. That's amazing, because that's a huge, I mean, that's a huge problem for women. I mean, the cramps, what, you know.
Would that even work? Would that even work if, like, the tampon were uncomfortable for someone?
Yeah.
So here's one of the cool things about CBD and most cannabis products. If there's a question, concern, condition, or complaint, just try it.
Yeah.
Because of the
Safe.
safety efficacy, the safety window and the window of efficacy is so huge, you almost can't mess it up. So yes, try it and let me know.
So, you know, one thing that, you know, we know, Alice and I absolutely know this as well as many of our viewers, but, you know, patients are on so many medications these days. And when that doctor writes that prescription and they send that patient to the pharmacy to pick it up, they do not discuss with them the erectile dysfunction that occurs in 40% of the men who take it. They do not tell the women that, you know, your ability to have an orgasm may be impossible once you're on this medication. And you know, we're just seeing just all these people on so many medications that are suffering the side effects, and those side effects are related to sexual wellness. And, you know, so products like that, just, you know, being on a good treatment plan with CBD and THC, you know, our goal is, of course, to replace as many pharmaceuticals with plant medicine
And enhance our lives. I mean, get that scale moving from disease or dis-ease, you know, over to the wellness side of things. And I mean, who doesn't want to stick around and feel good while they're sticking around versus, you know, for a long time before I got into cannabis, my MS, you know, I was just barely surviving, you know, and now I feel more like I'm thriving. And I still have bad days. It doesn't fix everything. And you know, and I still got COVID. So just because they say if you do cannabis, you won't get COVID. Well, I probably didn't take enough of my own medicine, literally, because I did get
Yeah.
it. But
You're here today,
I'm
you
here
know,
today,
yeah.
and I'm glad that I was able to mitigate a lot of the effects. So yes, here's a question. I can't see who wrote it, but I can say the question is CBD oil safe for lube? If so, does it benefit the sexual experience?
Yes.
And yes.
So coconut oil is a really good lube. So when I started making cannabis products, it was not for, you know, to increase my sex life, and to improve it, but it was for my son because he needed something that worked. Because the medications he was being prescribed didn't work. And so I just, you know, I put the coconut oil and the, you know, CBD and THC flower in a crock pot. And so absolutely you could use that topically, and it could improve. You know, that slide that was up there, 347 studies, and the ones that have come out most recently, you know, in the last 10 years have shown that cannabis can improve your sex life for so many reasons, but there's a lot of issues when it comes to circulation, pain,
Nerve damage.
yeah.
Nerve damage. We've actually, so I do have this carried in other stores besides our stores and
Yes.
online. It's at Rustic Oils as well. And I've been hearing reports back even of like I mean, like, we understand that there's a refractory period after a male has an orgasm.
How long is that refractory period after they try this?
I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 minutes.
Wow.
Several times. Which, so when we talk about having multiple fun and multiple things to talk about, this is one good thing to talk about multiples. So.
Yes.
Really
I can't
Wow,
promise.
thank you. Oh my
I
God.
have to take off my sweater. Okay. Here's to the honey.
Cheers. Yes. No, absolutely. Dana does really have some good CBD honey, and you can purchase that in a couple dispensaries around Kansas City. So I know that Fresh Greens has your honey, and then Relief Resources has your honey.
Yep, Rustic Oils has it. We have it down in Joplin and Webb City, and then it's online everywhere.
Yes. That's really tasty. That's very good.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. So what should we talk about next? So you know, I think that honestly, the thing that I want to share, that I hope I don't want to get too personal, but how it's impacted me personally when it comes to intimacy and wellness is when I consume the right balance of cannabis or the right balance of CBD and THC. I mean, I actually started kissing my husband more. Like before, you know, I mean, we've been married or, you know, together for 15 years, and we kind of know how to do our thing. You know, there's a routine, and it was weird. Like we hadn't been kissing a lot. You know, of course, when we were younger, we were, but that was something that I noticed that cannabis did for me, and just wanting to touch him, you know,
Right.
which, you know, we've got, like I said, 3 kids, 3 dogs, and, you know, busy lives, and that's just something that we weren't taking the time to do, and we started doing that, you know, when I was testing out those recipes for my son.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good way to find it out.
So just anecdotal research, of course, but
How else did we learn though?
Yeah.
For tens of thousands of years, we didn't have books and we didn't have clinical studies. You did what your parents showed you, or you found out by the way of necessity. And that's kind of where we're at. Everybody that is looking to use cannabis or looking to use something other than pharmaceuticals, you know, horrible side effects, or just living in pain, they're looking at these kind of things.
well, you know, a lot of I mean, I don't know what the percentage of women who are on antidepressants is, but it's high. I probably half of my friends and my age are, you know, have been on antidepressants. So it's really because they're unable to manage their stress because they don't know how. It's because they're not, you know, taking care of themselves. Unfortunately, it's so you know, related to diet, exercise, lack of vitamin D, and all that. But when those antidepressants start affecting their ability to climax or have sex, it starts to affect their husbands. You know, I mean, their husbands think, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I satisfy her? I mean, it's a huge problem. So, you know, that one prescription that doctor writes can really negatively affect a relationship.
And it's not just adult females that are dealing with this. Men get prescribed these things. They have poor libido and erectile dysfunction, but our teenage daughters, over and over, they're wanting on birth control, and they're wanting stuff for, I mean,
Anxiety,
anxiety, stress, depression, and younger. I mean, and then here comes along some hormone issues, because we're seeing this happen sooner and sooner. So this isn't just for sexual health, it is for female reproductive health. You know, we have reports back about polycystic ovary syndrome and those kind of things. A little bit goes a long way. You only need 1 or 2 pumps, targeted area. The guy's area is not the whole targeted area.
What is the guy's area?
Okay, so the glans penis. Right on the back side of the head is just some like little bumps or little glands, and that is likened to like the clit for the woman. And so just 1 or 2 drops, dab it on, wait a minute or 2, and then enjoy. And then if you need more, you know, for female reasons, you know, you can use it and insert it too.
Wow, that's really exciting.
Exciting.
Well, you know, I'm just so excited that we get to have a show and talk about this. I mean, it's you know, a lot of times I talk to patients and you know, they're almost embarrassed, and they don't want to act like anything is wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with them. It's usually, honestly, everyone experiences different medical conditions. People are prescribed medications by their doctors. They're really unaware of the side effects, but products like this can really be beneficial. Are you doing okay over there, Dana?
Oh yeah.
How's the weather over there?
We are simmering.
So there was an Australian study, I think it was, I don't know, they looked at about 4,000 men. And what they found was that men were...
Were they naked or were they in...
Right. No, I think it was like a survey that they had to fill out or something. But so they lumped all the men who to consume cannabis and alcohol and smoke cigarettes and other substances into one group, right? And so they found that those men did have some erectile dysfunction. So everybody, was saying, oh, cannabis, marijuana causes erectile dysfunction. But, those guys in that group were suffering from blood pressure issues, were on more medications, cardiovascular issues, circulatory problems. And so recently there was a study that came out that specifically looked at men. They did a survey. And they found that, the first study that they'd really done like this, that the more a male consumed, the more times a male consumed THC in a week, the more satisfied he was with his sexual activity. So they had a group of men who were consuming maybe 1 to 3 times, 3 to 5 times, and then over 6 times. And it was a study that was done by, I'll post it in the comments later after this, but they found that those men who were consuming more cannabis were, they were having better orgasms. They felt more satisfied with their sex life. They were experiencing less erectile dysfunction. So that was...
Were they more physically fit?
They didn't look at that.
I wonder because, we talk about activity and sexual activity. Does it count as exercise?
I think it does.
Let's see how much you do.
Yeah, I know that there is some research that says maybe sex doesn't count as exercise, but here's what I always tell my patients: if you're, of course, only do exercise unless your physician instructs you, it's okay to do that, But if you have your mouth open and you are having to breathe through your mouth, that means your heart is pumping and your heart needs oxygen, and that means your heart is exercising. So you may not be like, pumping iron or, building muscle anywhere, but you're pumping that all important heart muscle, and that's really honestly a very important part of exercise.
Yeah.
And those same authors, actually, they did a study for women. And of course, there's a wide variety of reasons why women report, sexual dysfunction, pain, anxiety, other psychological issues. And they found the same thing, that the more times a woman was consuming cannabis, the more satisfied they were, the better, they were reporting better orgasms.
Well, I had read about certain things like prostaglandins and stuff like that from the male semen, helping as an antidepressant. So
I've read some. Now, would that be internally then, the male semen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we got a question.
Oh, goody. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there any dangers with heart rate and cannabis? So I can answer this one on my perspective, and then if you want to add some stuff. But the dangers with heart rate and cannabis, so there was the American Heart Association released some guideline or some policy or whatever, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, that said cannabis can cause or potentially could cause like heart disease or heart attacks and things like that. But then they said we need more research, and then they also said we actually think that you should take cannabis off the Schedule 1 list so we can study it more. So from what I've seen in the research that I've done is that if you are consuming moderate amounts of cannabis where you're not over consuming, people don't have any issues with their heart rate or with heart problems. It's when, unfortunately, especially when people over consume gummies, those are the people who are, my heart is racing, I can't breathe, I think I'm having a heart attack. So that dosing is so important to prevent that.
Right. So, and I agree with all of that. I do believe that there is a certain, especially in the beginning and in the novice, almost no matter what dosage you take, and sometimes even lower doses will do it, depending what terpenes it's combined with, can cause a transient, ischemic elevation of your heart rate. And so they see that as being a potential, issue. They do know that people, when they did a meta-analysis in the people that came through the ERs and stuff like that, and they went back and looked through the records, people who were a novice cannabis user and came in with heart issues or something like that, they do believe that may have precipitated it. But people who were long-term users of cannabis actually had better heart outcomes. Whether they came in for a stroke or a heart attack, the long-term cannabis users actually were the ones that would survive and have less disability after being in the hospital for it. So for me, I would say with the THC, go with caution, because we all know what paranoia sounds like or feels like, whether you've experienced or not. You hear of your heart racing and stuff like that. If you've already got some issues going on, I could see that, being a little bit of an issue. Have undo ready. I love the undo stuff and especially for the people that have used it and it works for them, like within 10 minutes to bring some of that high heart rate palpitations or the nausea and stuff like that is super helpful. Because a lot of people, like you said, education before medication, because a lot of our new users are people that didn't want to use it until it was legal. Well, now they're just thrown into it, and they're getting access to a lot of stuff like the gummies and the edibles, and the chemistry is different for a gummy than it is for an inhalant. So
so I did spent a lot of time in Oklahoma. So I was born and raised in Tulsa, and I was doing some secret shopping one day, just wanted to feel the place out, right? So I go in and I talk to them, and I consume, I microdose THC. It's the CBG and CBD that I take the larger quantities of, but I'm just like, hey, I'm new. I told them, I've got some anxiety, which I do. What's a good product? Because I really wanted to give them the opportunity to tell me about their products. I didn't want to tell them about their products, right? And there was a 50 milligram lollipop that they wanted to sell me, and I
with anxiety.
And I just I didn't purchase the lollipop, and that may be a good dose for someone who is been on cannabis long term, who has a very high tolerance, but absolutely not for a novice or a new person. So it had me a little bit worried about what they could potentially be telling other patients, because once those patients have a bad experience with cannabis, they will never go back.
Exactly.
And that's really, really unfortunate. And that's why I know we work really hard to educate those dispensaries. So are there any studies that have shown a difference in satisfaction between strains or edibles versus smoking? So no, there has not been that I'm aware of. So the two studies that I mentioned before were the first frequency dose response studies that they looked at. Before that it was all, cannabis, alcohol, methamphetamines, cigarettes were all lumped into the same group. So we will start to see some studies. I think that everybody's a little bit different. So if you need something that's a little bit more sedating or relaxing to help you, honestly get in the mood or want to engage in sexual activity, then you may need that. If you are suffering from chronic fatigue syndrome and you just don't have the energy to engage in sexual activity, you may need something that's a little bit more stimulating. With those so much about the terpenes and the different strains. So one strain from one dispensary that's got the same name is not going to be the same strain from another dispensary. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the dispensaries in Missouri paying for that full panel testing. So we know, because that's really, really important, because that's what patients, they need to understand what's helping them. So they need to know those terpenes that are in there.
Yep, terpenes. Cannaflavins is another part that is starting to be explored quite a bit. Flavonoids, of course, is the reason why we try to eat healthy greens and vegetables and stuff. Flavonoids are even in our Evoke.
Right.
So antibacterial, antimicrobial. it's not just CBD that's in this, and it's in our spices and stuff too. And if you can eat it, you can put it on. So
Absolutely. So I think we're going to get ready to go to commercial break. Dana, do you want to give us an update before we do that?
Sure do.
All right.
Okay, so update on the bisque. We have simmered for about 20-25 minutes, and I think it's ready to go to the blender. But right now is the time that I'm going to infuse the bisque. So I'm just going to use my MCT oil that I've already made with my CBD flower, and it's exactly the same way that you would do it with marijuana flower. Just mine is made to where it's going to be about, this is going to be about 100 milligrams. So I'm just going to throw it right in there. And it's going to incorporate well because this bisque is going directly to the blender. So after I blend it, then we'll just add the cream and let it simmer for another 10 minutes. And then ladies, it's going to be done.
Yay!
Okay.
All right. We got my mic unmuted. We're all good. Cool. Hey, thanks everybody for watching, for standing by. We have I'm over here blushing and watching this whole thing, and it's so informational. I never knew about Evoke. I never knew about it, and we're tackling some just human issues here. It's I'm a single guy, so that explains the blushing. But this is actually like very educational, very helpful information for a lot of people out there. So thanks for watching this. Hopefully you can share this on your page. You can tag a friend to bring them in on the conversation. If you tag a friend, you get entered to win the gift cards to Relief Resources Dispensary. And also we're giving away 2 certifications tonight from Elevate Holistics. So tag a friend, they'll get entered to win those competitions. When we get back from the break, we're going to give away this little gift basket filled with all kinds of goodies. The Evoke, we've talked about that. Everyone wants to try that out now. We got the Rose Water, we got the Sky Trace pre-rolls, and then lots of other goodies here. To enter that, you can just type in the word Bow Chicka Bow Bow, or however you want to spell that, or just Valentine's Day or whatever, just something that we know you want to win this. And then when we get back from the break, we're going to draw a winner. We have a little spin wheel thing we're going to work out somehow. And then you have to be here, though, so stick around through the break, and then we'll give that away. And lots of great information to come. We get to check out the lobster bisque, the infused lobster bisque that's going to come out here shortly. And then we're going to highlight some more products, have some more conversations about this type of stuff. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, Chris and Christina here with the Canada Convict Project. Hope you're enjoying the show.
How y'all doing tonight?
We just want to give you a little update this week.
There's another cannabis lifer has been released. We want to congratulate the release of Ricardo Riojas. He was served 23 years of a life sentence, and he was granted compassionate release yesterday. So congratulations to him, his family, and everybody, all the advocates and everybody that worked to get him out.
Welcome home. We want to follow that up by reminding everyone again not to be a broken record, but to be a broken record. Please remember to send our state and federal guys clemency support. You would send the state guys to the governor's office, and you can say something as little as, I support Trevor Saller's pending clemency. I support Robert Franklin's pending clemency. And for the federal guys, you'd send that to the federal pardons office, and you would just say, I support so-and-so's pending clemency, just as you would for the state guys. And there's Anthony Bearden, Lance Glore, and we need to get Nick and Zach's clemency submitted on their behalf. But keep sending in those emails and letters. Public support really means everything.
There's been a lot of talk going on all across the country, especially on the federal level, which really affects all the states. So keep contacting your local representatives. Keep contacting just anybody that is writing these bills, and just show your support. Not necessarily all the stuff going on in all the states is great bills, but support what you can. Write your representatives.
We were talking with Joni last night at a quick board meeting we had, and so she let us know, which I wasn't aware of, that there are actually 17 pending initiatives in the Missouri House regarding some form of marijuana reform. So check those out. I need to look into that a little bit more, but thank you, Joni, for bringing that to our attention. I knew there were some on there, but 17, that's a lot, and that's something that we should really look into as a community to see if it's something we think is going to be positive.
Definitely need to make sure we choose the right one.
Absolutely. With that said, a couple court dates coming up. We've got Raymond Breers. Hopefully his final court date is going to be February 18th. The judge was hospitalized last month for his January date, which was supposed to be the final hearing. And so keep sending him your love and support. And if anyone wants to join us at the Bethany, Missouri County Courthouse, please join us up there on the 18th next week. And March 10th, Adela and Aaron Wissam have another council status hearing. So always continue sending them their love and support. No one belongs in jail for a plant. And that's about all we really have for this week. For our updates on what's going on in our sphere, we want to remind everyone that it's really cold outside and there's a ton of homeless people. I help homeless people during my day job, so it means something really important to me. If you can, please donate gently used coats, gloves, hats, blankets to homeless shelters. Something that I carry around in my car and hand out when I can are hand warmers. So just remember to support those who are less fortunate and keep them alive during these conditions, because a lot of them do die of exposure, and it's really tragic and sad. And we're really blessed to have a nice warm home to come to every day. Not everyone has that blessing, so please keep them in your hearts and do what you can to keep them alive.
Well, I hope everybody has a happy Valentine's Day, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Lovebirds.
All right, get that sexual health knowledge. All right, guys, we love you. Have a good rest of your show.
Be sure to join us next week, February 18th, for the Evolution Live show about minorities in the medical marijuana industry. Eric McSwain of MCIA will be hosting LaVon Hamilton of V9 Grows 420, and a special guest, Roz McCarthy, the founder and CEO of Minorities for Medical Marijuana. Be sure to join us Thursday, February 18th at 7 p.m.
Relief Resources is located at 13836 South 71 Highway in Grandview, Kansas City's premier medical marijuana dispensary, offering such brands as Stash Logic's locking transport smell-proof boxes to Grav Labs glass pieces. Come see us for your biggest selection in Kansas City, offering all flavors of Keef Colas, different strains of flower to help you medicate, and of course, the fresh essence of the freshest flower in Kansas City.
Come see us!
The Missouri Cannabis Industry Association has been our longest-running show sponsor, while providing quality education over many topics in partnership with area cannabis professionals. MCIA is dedicated to a free cannabis market to create supplies and prices that are patient-friendly, with initiatives to support adult-use cannabis, to protect home growers' rights, and expand the caregiving program. Go to mocia.org to learn about memberships, to learn about their certified caregiving program, and learn how to get involved. Thank you, MCIA, for being a show sponsor. Cannabis Care Team. Our mission is to provide qualifying patients with the education, support, and advocacy they need to experience the medical benefits of cannabis and consume it safely. We work tirelessly to have a positive impact on the lives of others and achieve our mission by providing education to both patients and the industry. Visit CannabisCareTeam.com or give us a call today. Cannabis Care Team, education before medication.
Hey, thanks for sticking around through the break. We have lots of great conversations still to go. We're going to check in on the lobster bisque here shortly. Dana's over in another room preparing the last little bit of that. We still have a little bit of time for you guys to enter in the competition for the gift basket of the sexual healing, all kinds of wonderful ingredients there that besides Evoke that we tackled that earlier. Lots of other cool things in there. Go ahead and just Valentine's, bow chicka bow bow. Tag a friend for the Relief Resources gift cards or for the certification from Elevate Holistics. We're going to take it back over to April Hatch and Alice Mangan with AliceCBD.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for staying tuned, and thank you to the Cana Convicts for sharing that update. We're just so pleased that they're advocating for to get some of these people out of prison, because no one deserves to be in prison because of a plant, right? So keep up the good work over there. I think now we're going to talk about some products. We've talked about the Evoke a little bit, and of course you can get that at Rustic Oils in Lee Summit. Rachel will be there, and she will help you with all your CBD needs. She's right off 3rd Street in downtown. And then, of course, you can get those products from Alice down in southern Missouri. She's got a couple locations.
And online.
Yes. So you might have noticed we've got some roses on the table. And then this is actually a rose water facial spray. I'm not a very traditional person, so I'm not a big fan of red roses, but I think that there's a reason why that roses are traditionally given on Valentine's Day. Have you heard, the benefits of rose oil or roses?
Just a little bit. I got introduced to, I've always liked roses and the rose smell, but it always kind of reminded me of older people and this and that. But a younger person kind of turned me on to it again, and that's what she kept buying was my rose lotion. And Miss Lady on the Mountain, you know who you are. She's also one that got me reintroduced to lion's mane, so that's a whole other story. But I started looking at the different essential oils, of course, linalool and lavender, and looking at the vibration. So we're all made of energy, and certain things carry a certain vibration, or electrons are spinning. There is a frequency with it, and certain oils actually raise the vibration or have a certain frequency, and rose oil is one of the highest. Right after that, I think, is frankincense and myrrh, and then lavender.
Yeah, I think traditionally, and from what I've read, that roses are supposed to evoke passion and increase libido. So absolutely, that makes sense. So in this gift basket, you will get some rose water facial spray, and we're going to head back over to Dana and see what she did in the blender.
Hi everybody. So you've got to take a look at this. Can you see it? It's all creamy and blended together. All of the vegetables are pureed, and it is like a creamy, beautiful orange color. So I'm going to turn the heat back on. Switch. So I'm going to turn the heat back on, and this is when we're going to add the heavy cream. So this is what makes it creamy. And you just pour it in, give it a good stir. And I'm going to save some just in case. So give it a good stir, and I'm going to bring it back to a simmer. And I'm going to simmer it for about 5-10 more minutes until it's done. And then after that, I'm going to saute the lobster to put on top.
Yummy.
Yeah.
We're excited. Thank you. All right. So we got some other products we want to talk about over here. All right. Here we go. Thank you. Okay. So California, Colorado, Oklahoma, but these 1906 tabs, they have, I think, about 8 different types of tablets that provide different effects, but they have this Love one, And this Love One actually contains what they call the Viagra of the Amazon and ashwagandha, which is also something that's been known to increase libido. So, this is a product that patients have found to be really effective for absolutely increasing that libido. So,
And it looks like a little mint. So
Yes.
nice and easy, discreet. Nobody even knows what you're taking or using because, again, still with like the stigma and stuff,
absolutely, yeah. They've got like a chill, a genius, a midnight, something to help them sleep. So I think that it's just really exciting that we're seeing other botanicals used with cannabis. We're also seeing, some psychedelics, some mushrooms used with cannabis. You mentioned lion's mane. I take Alice's lion's mane. And, it really helps, kind of even the mood. It reduces your response to stress. It's a really great product. What are some of the other herbs and things that you think that we'll start seeing infused or used with cannabis?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Now that you mentioned psilocybin, that's the only place my mind is going because of all of the, and I don't even know if there's studies on it with sex or anything, even though this is a sex, but this is also a love. Valentine's Day is for love. And I do know that they are doing psilocybin studies with, people who have loved ones that are struggling with cancer, stuff like that. John Hopkins just did a great study, and now DARPA, the Department of Defense, is given $27 million to study ketamine and psilocybin for chronic pain and PTSD.
I think we need to do a show on psychedelics, absolutely, because there's so much we could talk about.
Absolutely.
With ketamine, ketamine is being shown to be really effective for people who have PTSD and chronic depression, and chronic depression and PTSD absolutely affect someone's ability to engage in an intimate act with another person. So Alice and I, we will actually be doing some telehealth work with patients consuming ketamine from the comfort of their own home. We'll be kind of walking them through that with a company that's just not getting launched. And so, it's a really exciting opportunity because so often I hear from people taking ketamine that they find that they have the ability to heal themselves, which is huge. If we can heal ourselves, if we can love ourselves more, we're just going to be healthier and, of course, have that healthy endocannabinoid system that makes all the difference.
Yes, and some interesting things happen, with psilocybin and ketamine, but with ketamine, the regrowth of dendrocytes, our nerve cells, which, you think of psychedelics and you're thinking of hallucinogenics and all this stuff, but there is nerve and neuroplasticity taking place, which is huge, especially when we're trying to learn to rewire old habits of, either self-victimhood or those kind of things, and then get out of old trenches,
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to start to see a ton of research, and because of that grant as well. So I want to talk about a few more of the products in here. So here's probably some TMI, but so what I always tell my husband is, you got to preheat the oven. Alice, you mentioned earlier that, intimacy and sex is a lot about how a woman is feeling emotionally. So if I've had a really stressful day, if I've, if something bad has happened, that's really the last thing that we're thinking about as women. So this massage oil is actually from Nurse Grown Organics. This is a nurse who grows CBD out in Vermont, but she has produced this CBD oil.
Is that where we're going to go soon?
Yes.
Okay.
Alice and I are going to take a summer road trip, and we're going to go visit Jessie Lynn with Nurse Grown in Vermont. But this has, some massage oil. A lot of my stuff is the tension in the shoulders. This has, I believe it has some rosemary, it's got some really good stuff that reduces tension and inflammation. And so, something like this may not be, you may not want to particularly use this on any sexual organ, but something like this all over the body or on the shoulders is definitely going to get that person in the state of mind to where they want to engage in something like that.
Yeah. Another thing before you even do the massage oil, have some quiet time with just
Yes.
you and a bath. This has rose, and can you tell we're into roses right now? Because I do believe, besides the smell, but you know, the active ingredient in roses, you know, must be doing something. Everybody's going for it. April, can you bring your mic up a little bit?
Check.
Check. Is this doing it? Okay. Rose and lang lang. Is that how you say it? Ylang lang or lang lang? Lang lang, lemongrass, lemon balm. Those have been known to be aphrodisiacs. So this is a great way. If you don't have time for a whole bath, do a foot soak. We know that the endocannabinoid system does pull in things through our feet. We've seen, you know, the cannabis kids with the roller ball on their feet, and it's stopping a seizure all the way up in the brain. I've used CBD on, you know, family members for fevers on the bottom of their feet, and their fever goes away, you know. The other things go in too, so for better or for worse, know what you're putting on your body or putting on your feet, and get some good stuff to put on there.
Yeah, and there's actually a roller ball on here as well.
Yes.
And this has lemongrass in it. Now, what is lemongrass good for?
Aphrodisiac.
Nice.
Lemongrass, also mood elevation. A lot of times your limonene and those kind of things you'll find in your sativas, or kind of that upbeat, up moving. And this can be used, you know, even just on pulse points, on your shoulder, on your neck, the temples, and then other areas. And the belly button's a great way to take in cannabinoids and those kind of things that feed our endocannabinoid system too.
Amazing. So there are some CBD pre-rolls in here, and you know, we might think that THC is best to promote sexual wellness and sexual activity, but I mean, CBD is just honestly so good for the endocannabinoid system and overall health and wellness. I really treat CBD like a multivitamin. You know, it's something that I want to be taking on a consistent basis,
Right.
You know, several times throughout the day, because I want it in my system. I want it working all the time. I want it decreasing inflammation. I want it working on my immune system. And so CBD, as we know, is just, you know, I'm not making any claims because we can't do that with CBD, but there are a ton of studies that show the medical benefits of it for anxiety, for pain. So, you know, this... you know, honestly, you don't even have to smoke an entire one of these to get some relief. Start low and go slow, even with something like a CBD pre-roll.
And if you're scared of smoking it, share them with your friends and family. Say, here, babysit the kids so I can do this, and I'll give you these pre-rolls.
Yeah.
Or also, there's no difference between this, tearing open the pre-roll, and sprinkling it into a tea or something like that, because you can get your cannabinoids through ingestion, you know, as a tea. You steep it out, and yes, it's not going to decarboxylate it, but there's a lot of benefits in the acid form. So if you're scared to smoke it, tear it open and make it into a tea, throw it in your soup, sit there, sip it in your tub, and then get out and get happy.
Absolutely. So, you know, that's something that, again, there's been a lot of information come out about, are the acidic forms of cannabis. So, you know, that would be the THCA and the CBDA. We've noticed that THCA from, again, the research, science, is what we base everything we say on, is, you know, the anti-inflammatory benefits, the benefits for depression, nausea, and vomiting. And the acidic forms of cannabis are not psychoactive. So there's a lot of people, as you know, who are scared to get high. They're scared to feel any of the psychoactive effects. So CBDA, THCA are great alternatives. And yeah, you know, breaking up one of those pre-rolls and putting it in some hot water with some of Dana's infused honey is good, and is actually going to provide some medical benefits that a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah, that's actually what I do when I make tea. Is I throw in the infused honey, throw in my hemp flower, or sometimes other flour.
Yeah,
depending what I'm in the mood for. Okay, I'm in Oklahoma.
Okay, so Doug McKinney said, I'm in Oklahoma and dig what you're doing for the industry. I'd like to be in the drawing. Boom, chicka, wow, wow.
And he did spell it and everything.
Did spell it right. All right. So, Doug, you're definitely going into the drawing for sure. You know, Alice and I are both, our mission is to educate people and to help people. I know that's why you became a nurse, just like why I became a nurse. And so for the first time, I finally feel like I'm able to do that, and it's been amazing. There's just so many benefits to this plant.
Yes, and there for a little while, I don't know if I did some of it out of guilt or just out of maybe not even guilt, but just saying, okay, here's where I was wrong. I was one of the nurses that told these little old ladies and young people, just take it as the doctor says, and you probably won't get addicted to it. Just this is how it's prescribed. The doctor will, it's safe at these dosages. The doctors were lied to. We were lied to. Oklahoma won a bunch of money the year before last against the opiate makers because of the lies. But, this is a way that we can help and not be so scared of the harms.
Right. We've talked a little bit about overconsumption, and, you don't want to overconsume because you will be more at risk of experiencing those side effects like, anxiety and some paranoia. But generally, cannabis is a safe medication, and like Alice's oil, if I were to take a quarter dropper full or a half a dropper full, I'm not overly concerned about that, and I of course always talk to your doctor beforehand, but it's not something that people should be overly worried about. How are we doing, Dana?
We are so ready to cook this lobster, okay?
Yeah.
You ready? All right, and then we're gonna smoke the bisque.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, my pan is already hot, my butter is already melted, and I'm just gonna flash saute this lobster because I don't wanna overcook it. So I'm gonna do my garlic, just really fast. And this is just enough for a garnish.
So while we're doing that, Dana, we are putting in all the names of everybody who commented Valentine's or Bound Chicka Bow Bow, all into a little spin wheel thing that hopefully we'll get up on the screen here, just so you know that we're not playing favorites. So while we're working on that,
Little drops.
Dana, what do we got going over here?
Okay, so now I'm plating the bisque, sorry. Plating the bisque. I'm just gonna take a little bit in this bowl.
We are serving lobster bisque in Happy Rock Farms on
Yeah,
Main Street.
and
in
it smells
Kansas City.
amazing. Okay, this is where the smoked part comes in, and this thing is amazing.
What?
Yeah.
So what are you smoking that with, Dana?
I've got some CB dog, which has some really nice
Wait. So the food is
yeah, it's smoked. I told you it was
smoking?
smoked.
What?
Yeah, so it's CBD flower. It's called CB dog. And it has some really nice fruity notes.
What?
Yeah. So your bisque is smoking.
Could you inhale from that little device as well? Is it
Yeah.
kind of like a vaporizer?
Yeah.
I see it coming on the side.
Yeah.
Can I come suck on
Yeah, you can. Check it out.
What?
Oh man.
Okay.
How hot does that smoke get?
I don't know.
So you can't use it like a face mask.
I mean, you probably come here.
I actually did it earlier. It was fine.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna garnish with the lobster because I don't like mine chunky. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like mine chunky, so. And then just a little bit of parsley to make it pretty. And voila.
Yummy.
Your lobster bisque just smoked before you did.
Wow. Thank you.
All right, Alice, I've got one coming for you too.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you do at Infused KC, Dana. I mean, I know all that you're like this miracle worker in the kitchen, of course, but tell the audience what you've got going on at Infused KC.
Basically, Infused KC is mostly about food and infusion innovation. Because of COVID, we're focusing more on products right now. And later we'll do more catering. But, of course, you can find our honey at many different places around Missouri. And then we have a few more interesting products coming out soon, but I don't want to, like, give it away, you know. So we're going to do this one more time.
Please.
So, like, could we hire you to come teach us how to infuse food?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then it just smokes.
Food is smoking before you do.
You can find recipes that I do every month in the Evolution magazine. I also have a book here that is available on Amazon, or you can email me directly at dana@infusedkc.com. This one's going to be really smoky, Alice. Or just go to our website and check it out. It's www.infusedkc.com.
We're all speechless. I don't even know what to say to that. Never even seen that before. This night, I haven't. Yeah. We got. How about this? While you ladies, you've done a great job tonight. So I don't want. I'll take over. I'll let you go ahead. Enjoy your meal there. Enjoy your CBD infused lobster bisque. While you ladies are doing that, how about James? Can we pull up the little spin wheel and can we do a little giveaway? They've done so much hard work tonight. I want them to enjoy this meal here.
Amazing.
Before we do though, check out that. There was just a graphic with the Evoke details on there. That's all the properties that is in that. What?
Talk about that slide for a second.
Okay, so the Evoke slide.
Yeah, I just put it up.
So the Evoke slide there, check out all the properties there. We were talking about this product earlier tonight. It's great for men's and women's sexual health. All kinds of great benefits from women's hygiene to sexual intimacy. Great product. It's one of many in the basket here tonight. Let's pull up the pinwheel, and we've entered everybody's names in tonight that said bow chicka bow bow or Valentine's after the comment there on their name. So let's do it. Spin that wheel, James. All right, who's the big winner? I can't hardly see. Can you? What is that? Lazaruda Chavez. What's up?
Congratulations.
Lazaruda Chavez, are you in the house tonight? If you are, comment. Let us know that you're here. We'll give you a few minutes to comment. And as soon as we see that you're here, we'll give you that prize. We may try the wheel again potentially if they're not here. I don't know. Are we doing that? I don't know. Who knows? This is a.
Clay is jealous. He needs some lobster beds.
Flying by the seat of our pants here, as always here at the Evolution magazine. By the way, thanks for sticking around tonight. You have, besides that giveaway, we have 2 free gift cards to Relief Resources. We have 2 free certifications from Elevate Holistics that we're giving away tonight. Tag a friend right now. Last chance to get entered to win that. Even if you have your certification, we'll help you find somebody that needs it, or you can give it away to somebody else that needs it. Great conversation tonight. You guys are just chowing down this lobster bisque, making me feel just hungry and not a part of the dinner. But maybe next time we can all eat dinner and have a show together as I eat too. We can keep that in mind for next time.
Well, Valentine's Day is truly all about doing something for yourself or being around people that you care about and that you love. So Alice and I are just so happy, and Dana is to be here surrounded by the Happy Rock Farms team and by the Evolution team, because we love everything that everybody is doing.
Yep.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Love you all.
We will let's just stick with the last winner. We'll give that winner. We'll find that winner. I think we'll find them. Should we do that, or what do you think? Should we call another name? Or
Hey, I'm easygoing. Let's just.
You have lobster bisque.
I know, right?
You should call somebody who's watching. Can you do that?
Yeah, let's try. James, did you see any response from the last winner?
No, not yet. No, nobody's.
Spin that wheel again.
Oh,
Let's
come on.
go.
This is some
Spin
good
that wheel
stuff.
again.
All right, so you're
Spit
gonna
it.
take a hot bath with your rose, yangling, and beta carotene BCP CBD bath stuff. You're gonna spray some rose water spritzer on your face when you get out, maybe on your shoulders, and then you're gonna have your significant other or yourself rub you down with this massage oil.
Is Nancy Perez still with us
Nancy
tonight?
Perez.
Nancy, you have some great products
And
coming
then,
to you.
you know, after you make yourself lobster
Good deal.
bisque, you're going to use this Evoke.
Nancy, I don't know if you're married or not, but you don't need that. Either way, you're good with this type of stuff we're giving away tonight. So if Nancy, you're there, comment. Let us know you're still around. James, let us know if she does comment. While we're waiting on her to comment, though, thanks so much to Dana tonight for putting this lobster bisque together.
Look at that.
Very well done. So if you don't know Dana's story, she writes for the Evolution magazine. She every month she has a new recipe, a new infused recipe. The lobster bisque recipe is going to be on next month's issue.
It's
So you got a
April's
little-
recipe.
Hey.
So and by the way, she has had great dreams and still aspiring dreams to have a catering business, but with COVID, that kind of switched things around for her, as it did with many people across the nation in Missouri. And she pivoted, and she has her own CBD infused honey. She has a cookbook that's out right now that you can purchase. It's all infused recipes with cooking. And a wonderful person here. She has if you're whether you're a new person to cooking or an advanced chef, she has you covered because she's both, and she realizes how to speak and how to write to both. So buy her cookbook, check out her recipes in the Evolution magazine. Go buy her infused honey at lots of different dispensaries, including Relief Resources, Fresh Green Dispensary. Is there any?
It's going to be at Missouri Wild Alchemy as soon as they open over in the St. Louis area.
There you go. So
And then we
multiple
have-
dispensaries you can buy that product in. Thanks so much for the lobster bisque tonight, and then hopefully if you guys would like, we can bring her back on some future episodes.
Please.
Yeah, and do some more infused cooking courses. Maybe even turn like the book into a digital, like where you scan the QR code on the and go
that
to
would
like.
be cool.
you know,
Nancy
go to-
Perez is here.
Nancy Perez is here. All right. Well, thanks so much to Dana. Thanks, Nancy. Nancy, we will reach out to you via Facebook and make sure you get this awesome gift basket. Any other parting words? April?
Thanks for having us. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to put on some cute little nurse hats and some red sweaters and celebrate Valentine's Day with this awesome group. And just thank you, everyone. It's been a great show. And if you need to get in contact with any one of us, you know how to find us. But Alice is amazing, and thank you for driving up from Joplin to do the show with us tonight. Like I said, her CBD with BCP was truly what gave me the effects that I was looking for from CBD. Just amazing stuff. That beta carotene is the only terpene that actually interacts with the CB2 receptor. So go check her out. If you've got questions about dosing, duration, delivery, all those things, you can reach out to both of us as well.
And there were some people that were reaching out in the comments, and they'll go back and check those later and reach out to you guys. There was several people that were actually inquiring about some help with some different things. So that's what the show's about. We're here to help. We're here to entertain. We're here to let you know that there's lots of other options out there besides what's on the pharmaceutical option list right now. So thanks so much to Happy Rock Farms for having us out tonight. Again, Dana, April with the Cannabis Care team. By the way, they do much more than shows like this. If you're a dispensary out there that needs help with training the staff, reach out to them. They can help with all that. And then, of course, Alice with aliceCBD down in the Southwest region has a couple of stores down there. And Army veteran, she's been on some of our vet shows in the past, so we thank her for being here tonight. Our production crew, thanks so much for pointing to the camera I need to be looking at.
job,
And then James there with behind the ones and twos and the computer. Thanks so much. Next week, you guys, please tune in next week. We have Roz McCarthy, the CEO of Minorities for Medical Marijuana. They're trying to find, obviously, trying to create a place for the people who are most socially disproportionated by the war on drugs. So that's a big conversation we're going to have with her and LaVon Hamilton with V9 Grows. Next week, we're going to have all that topic with also Eric McSwain's going to be here with MCIA. So tune in next week. And happy Valentine's Day. Stay warm. Love everybody. Love your spouse. Love your boyfriend. Love your girlfriend. Or love yourself at least. All right? Peace.